Hey Cindy in Sioux City, Iowa, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and I'm going to show you how I cut high-index anti-glare lenses for your new Rayban 2132F new Wayfarer in the 55 eye size and color 764, which is a hot red. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. Boom! Boom! Of course, this is the plastic sleeve that Rayban puts on there when they ship to me so the temples don't rub together. You will be receiving all the original manufacturer's packaging. But this is the F series. In fact, if I was more organized, let me grab one here. Bum, 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 bum. We have got, this is the tortoise beige in the 55 eye size, but this is the traditional new Wayfarer. This is the F series, which essentially stands for fit, which is essentially ethnic fit, which Luxottica did not want to say. That's the parent company who owns Rayban. But the temple on this one is a little bit wider on the red one than it is on the one behind it. And I'll show you how the lenses pop in and out and all that. But for now, let's go ahead and take out your lenses. Set down your heavy breakable lenses. And go ahead and start. This is your Italian Rayban frame. And I'm going to put it into my Italian Santanelli. This is the LE1000 patternless edger, and the stylus is going to come up and trace the shape of your frame here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy genuine, authentic Rayban frame and receive free, clear, single vision prescription lenses. And of course, you upgraded to the anti-glare, and that is it. So let's go ahead and pull up your shape onto the computer. That is the shape of your lens now. I'm going to put in the frame pupillary distance, which is 72. I'm going to put your pupillary distance, which is 30 for the right eye and 29.5 for the left. Yes, it is. So these are polycarbonate, no, I'm sorry, high index lenses. High index. HPL stands for high index plastic lenses. I'm going to cut them on the soft cycle because of the anti-glare coating. And this is being cut for a Xyle frame, which is just an old school name for plastic. And I know from experience that the 55 has a deeper bevel than the 52, so I'm going to cut it one size, and I still may have to take it down a little bit further so that it fits perfectly. But let me go ahead and begin on your lenses. Your right eye reads -650, -1/4 at 170. Let me zero out my Marco 101 lensometer. -650, -1/4 at 170. So I'm going to spin the axis wheel of my Marco 101 lensometer to 170. I'm going to put the power drum on -650, and I'm going to rotate the lens until the lens comes in clearly. Find your optical center. Just double check the astigmatism correction. I'll explain all of that during the video. I'm just getting everything lined up just perfectly, and everything's supposed to be where it is, and we are good. So I'm going to put 3 dots on here, which is going to be very hard for you to see. I'm going to use my pen and darken them for you so you can keep score at home. And this is the right lens, so I'll put an R on there. Let me do the same thing for the left lens, which reads -7 1/4 sphere. So I'm going to put the power drum on 7 1/4. Put the lens in, find the optical center. For fun, I spin the axis wheel to make sure there is no astigmatism correction in this lens, and there is none. This time I only need 1 dot on there. I do have 3 dots on there, but I'm only going to darken the center one and mark that L, because you have no astigmatism in your left eye, which means this lens could literally rotate in your left eye and you're still going to see just fine, although it's impossible to rotate in this shaped frame. But now this is a block. I like to call him a Jenny from the block. Alright, that's as funny as I get. That's it. I'm done. You hear me? I'm done. I'm just going to cut glasses. But I need to attach a double-sided adhesive sticker to this. And when you know it, 3M out of Minnesota, don't you know, they make these double-sided adhesive stickers. And that was the worst Swedish accent I've ever done. But the black side is the sticky side. I'm going to stick that on there. Free bad impersonations with every pair of glasses. But what I'm looking into now is just like the crosshairs of a scope. I have a vertical meridian and a horizontal one, and the reason why I put those 3 dots on there is I want to make sure that those 3 dots are on the horizontal meridian. Then the vertical one's going to go right through that center dot, which of course again is your optical center. That's your right lens. Let me do the same thing now for your left. Grab one of these blocks, put the little sticker on there, pull the tape away, and I'm going to put that 1 red dot in the middle of the crosshairs. and that's going to sit dead center in front of your eye. Now, because of the anti-glare coating, it makes your lens a little bit more slippery while cutting, so I want to put one sticker on the back surface of the lens so everything stays in place nice and perfect while cutting. So let me go ahead and put it in the chuck and hit start. And the first thing that's going to happen is these calipers are going to come down and it's going to trace the shape of the right side of your frame to make sure the lens is large enough to fit, starting with the rear surface, the concave surface first, and then moving over and tracing the convex front surface of the lens, all the while measuring the thickness at every point to know exactly where to place the bevel so the lens fits best inside of your frame. Now, the actual cutting wheel is down here on the bottom left. It's that lighter color wheel that's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your high index lens material. This wheel in the center with that little channel, that valley, that's what's going to put the bevel onto the lens so that it stays inside the bevel of the frame. I will have to close the door in just a moment, but for now I just want you to see as your prescription lens touches down on the cutting wheel. So the F series for fit, for ethnic fit. This has a wider bridge than the traditional Rayban 2132. That's about the only difference. Still same tempo length, still same roughly general size of the lenses. These lenses are a little bit more narrow in this frame because the bridge is wider. It's designed to fit African American noses as well as Asian noses. This is a much thinner fit than this one. In fact, let me pop the lenses out of this one, which is color 6012, the tortoise beige. But I can take the lenses out of the F series and put them into this frame, and they fit in there rather easily. But you can't hear with the machine going, but there's a little bit of a rattle. There's movement on the inside. You can almost see how that one wiggles. Now, when I try and take the traditional lenses and put them in the F series, this is too big, and you see that it just bulges out and it doesn't want to go in this frame. And I don't want to force it either. But that's the biggest difference. So let me take out these lenses so I don't get them confused, although just by the fit. And I wish I could, it was loud enough for you to hear. I'm going to pop these back in. See how easily I do that? Because I do this all day long. Clean the fingerprints off. And of course, hey, where's it at? Here is your cleaning cloth that you're going to be getting, Cindy. You get a cute little pink one. And Cindy is marrying a very sweet guy named Alejandro. Of course, all his friends call him Handro. They're going to get married next May. Hopefully honeymoon down in the Mayan Riviera. Hopefully it's as special as mine. I got married about 6.5, coming up on 7 years, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Now, if I knew marriage was going to be this great, I would have gotten married when I was 16. Now, if you notice, your lens is flat around the edges, but not anymore. It's moved over to the bevel wheel, so it's actually getting the knife-like bevel that's going to go onto the edge of the lens. It'd be amazing if you could smell this too, because high-index lenses actually have some sulfur inside of them, so they actually smell like rotten eggs while they're cooking. You don't get that pleasure, just me standing here. But one of the other remarkable things about high-index lenses, and of course these are the 167 lenses with anti-glare coating, and it shows that the hydrophobic coating. And the anti-glare coating is designed to, well, I'll get to that in a minute too. I just can't do enough at one time. So you guys got to send me some wedding photos when it happens. I want to see them, and both of you guys. He's got the blue rubber. Of course, I'm wearing the blue rubber today because I've got a blue shirt on and I'm always matching. Every day I pop my lenses out and put them into a different frame. But you still have some rough edges left over from the cutting cycle, so I want to use my hand stone to smooth those out. I can put my finger on it while it's running and my finger gets warm due to the friction, but it's that friction that allows me to apply what's known as the safety bevel. And I actually want to use the cloth to wipe off any dust from around the edges that created. Let's go ahead and see if it will mount into your frame. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner first, and then using my thumbs push down. No, it does not want to go in there. So I'm going to put it back into the edger, and I'm going to take it down another 1/4 of a millimeter until it easily pops into your frame. I'm going to hit the retouch button, and actually while it's doing that, I want to, this is essentially the optical sawdust from what was off your lens. I want to empty that because 167 is also very gummy, and if I were to let that go and cut a second lens, my trap would start to overflow. It's not a lot of debris, not a lot of sawdust if you will, but it's a very gummy sawdust that clogs the filter. So I empty it out in between each lens. I don't have to do that with polycarb. I can go about 10 or 15 pair of lenses and polycarb that I normally cut before having to empty that trap. But I do have buckets just in case it overflows, so I am ready. I am ready. Now the anti-glare coating, as I had mentioned, is 3 features in one. It eliminates glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain, but from street lights, stop lights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights, all the above. The second feature is that it's an anti-reflection lens. You can see how the fluorescent lights above reflect off the lens in my right hand, but not the left. So when someone's looking at you, they're not looking at their reflection in your glasses. Or more importantly, if someone takes a picture with a flash, you don't see the flash lit up in the lens. So it makes for a much better cosmetic quality as well. The third feature that I like is that it comes with the best scratch coating in the business. Let me put that lens back up. Oh, let me take this lens out. Dry everything off again. And now let's see if it will go into the frame. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner first. Then using my thumbs, I press down at the nose. And there's still a lot of resistance, so I'm going to go another 1/4 millimeter until we get to the right size. The golden rule, you can always cut more off of a lens, you can never add it back on. And so that's why I start off a little bit large and work my way down. And of course, it's over in the other room, but I've got a pair of clear lenses for you for this frame so that when you're wearing your contacts, Cindy, you can pop these high index lenses out and put in the polycarb lenses. I'm sorry, the clear non-prescription one, and wear those over your contacts. Alright, let's take it out and see if it fits this time. I do apologize for the right lens taking a little bit longer. Once I get the size of the right lens down just perfectly, I'll flip over and cut the left. So, let's go ahead and try, and let's put another safety bevel on here. Dry that off, clean your lens up. Now again, to mount the lens, I hold the frame upright with the temples pointed downward. I tuck it in at the side closest to me that I'm working on. Since I'm working on the right side, I'm not trying to reach across the frame. I have the right side perpendicular to my body. I tuck the lens in at the outside corner and use my thumbs, press down at the nose. And hang on, it's sticking out at the back end, so I'm going to pop that out again because I want this to go in easily for you. Tuck it in there, and then using my thumbs, push down at the nose. Still a little bit more, so let's go 1/10 of a millimeter this time. Till we get the size just perfect. I don't want to force it in there because that causes the frame to stretch. Over time, it'll display a tendency that we in the business call rolling, where the front of the frame rolls outward because of the force of the lens that is applying to it. So Hondro and Cindy, you gonna invite me to the wedding? I've never been to Iowa. Be a great excuse to come. I'll take a day off from work for that. Get an early morning flight, show up for the wedding, and fly back home same day. I'll do it. I've gone to London just for the weekend to visit friends. I love day trips. I used to do them in the car before I started working 7 days a week. My wife and I would go to all sorts of different festivals. From the Blueberry Festival to the Peach Festival. There's a rice festival coming up, the first annual rice festival in some small town in North Carolina. I thought we might drive to it, put the top down on the convertible and go driving. Great way to see the state. And pretty soon all the festivals up in the mountains, the apples. There's still some pumpkin festivals going on. I know it sounds crazy, but hey, when you get married, you'll do crazy stuff like that. So, let's tuck it in at the outside corner, and then using the thumbs, press down at the nose. And it actually snaps in pretty well this time. I'm just going to test it by pushing out on the back of it. Yeah, we are good to go. So I'm going to tuck it back in again. And of course this is, well, I'll show you that later. Let me get it back in. I can leave that there for now. I'm going to flip this over to L, which stands for not right, and then hit the start button. And just like before, the caliper is going to come down, but this time they're going to trace the shape of the left side of your Rayban 2132, size 55, color 764. But it's going to make sure it's fitting on this side. I can go ahead and take this block off. It is no longer needed. And I'll show you how to put this lens into your frame in just a moment. So can you visualize the shape of your lens there? Camera 1, camera 2. Camera 1. And as soon as your left lens begins cutting, I'm going to go ahead and keep working on the right. At least show you how to pop your lenses in and out. Alright, so I showed you how to pop the lens in. You have the frame perpendicular to you, the side you're working on is closest to you. You take the lens, you tuck it in at the outside corner first, and then using your thumbs, you press down, it snaps right in there. Now to take the lens out, I simply flip the frame over. I'm right-handed, so I grab the frame with my left hand. You're always going to push down with your thumb at the nose. So I put my thumb at the nose, I grab the lens by the other side so the lens doesn't fall on the floor. And you can actually use your hand to torque the frame. You're not going to hurt your frame by doing this. But I put one thumb on top of the other thumb and push downward, and out comes your lens. Now let's go ahead and flip it back over, put it back in, and I actually want to verify the prescription. I'm going to take that blue sticker off now. Spin the axis wheel back to 170. See the 170 back there? Put it in over that red dot. And I'm getting minus 650, which is exactly halfway between 6 and 7. You have 1/4 step of astigmatism, which is the smallest you can have. And that puts us at minus 675, one tick mark away from the 7. The way your prescription works. Well, the unit of measurement in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, and goes in quarter increments from there, starting at 0, going known as plano, but better off known as non-prescription, going up from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on. But we're at minus 650. So let me do some math in my head. 6 times 4 is 24. So 650 is 26 steps of correction. If this were a ladder, you're on the 26th rung of the ladder for your right eye. Now without your glasses on, everything is way too large than it really appears. When you put your glasses in, they will minify down to the correct size, because when you see the print right here, when I hold your lenses over that, watch how small the print gets. Your lenses will minify, which is the opposite of magnify. But you need 1/4 step of astigmatism correction, and there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. This first number gets everything in the correct size. Astigmatism, when you have higher amounts, is what makes it difficult to things blur together. So 6s and 8s look like the letters P and F. Now you have the smallest amount you possibly have. But astigmatism correction just makes everything fine-tuned so these edges aren't fuzzy. So the reason why we had 675 is, remember high school algebra, you add two minuses together, But using more realistic terms, if someone owed you $6.50 and then they borrowed another quarter, they would owe you $6.75. That's what we have, $6.75. Now when I pop your left lens in, we're going to go straight to 7 1/4. So 7 times 4, 28. You need 29 steps of correction here. You need no astigmatism correction. You just need to get everything the correct size. And you really, I doubt if you could even notice 1/4 step during the daytime. At night, trying to see the road sign at a distance, that's where that one little step of correction is going to help you. You might be able to read it about 20 or 30 yards farther away in a car. Now, the higher you have of astigmatism, the more light sensitive you are, the more glare protection you need. But of course, you're getting the anti-glare coating with these. But years from now, you'll find it getting worse, and you're going to want the anti-glare coating on every lens that you have. So, let me dry this off. Back to the handstone for the safety bevel real quick. See that snow coming off, that little optical sawdust? And the polycarb lens, as I scrape it off with my thumbnail, it just literally vaporizes on the high index plastic. That's what you see, all this white powdery stuff. That is what used to be your lens. Dry my finger off here. Now let's go ahead and get this mounted onto the left side of your frame. I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner first, and then using my thumbs, press down at the nose, and it snaps in easily enough. I'm going to go ahead and take this block off, pull that sticker off, drop that in there, pull this sticker off, and over that red dot, I'm going to put it in front of my lensometer again, check the power, and I'm getting -7 1/4. Now your pupillary distance is 30 for your right eye, 29.5 for your left, which is a combined measurement of 59.5. I'm going to put my thumb against your right lens where that is, and when we look on the left lens, we're getting 59.5. That's between 59 and 60, so that is made perfectly. And while I'm cleaning your lenses off, I like to take the opportunity to remind everyone that when you get these in the mail, and if they're too loose or too tight, or more realistically, if one side is higher than the other, that's probably the more probable chance of that. That's because 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other. Now within that, 50% of that group has one ear that's closer in than the other, but that's why every optical shop does free adjustments if you ask them. Well, almost every, 99%. So if these aren't fitting perfect, just stop by your local place and they'll get that done for you. It only takes about 30 seconds to a minute. Now I'm going to get them in standard alignment, also known as a 3-point stance. So the 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set it down on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. I have one ear that's higher than the other, so when I press down on mine, they definitely wobble on the counter where yours don't. I'm going to flip mine over, press down again. There is no wobble. I make sure that each temple overlaps perfectly, and they do, and the same amount of tension on each hinge. And so that's it. How's that for a finished product? The high index lenses look very good inside your frame. Hardly any noticeable edge thickness there. Now this is, again, is the color 764, which is only available in the F series from Rayban, the 2132 with the wider bridge, designed to fit today's multi-ethnicity noses, that since there is no one robot head fits all, I'm glad that Rayban finally came out with a frame to accommodate more heads. So that's that. If anyone has any questions about what I can or can't do, and of course, Cindy, here's your cleaning cloth. And to prove that it works, I always pre-test everyone's cleaning cloth, because you know how embarrassing it is to send you a cloth that doesn't clean. So there, now I've made sure that it works. But that's that. So if anyone has any questions, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com, or simply click the contact me button on the website. But Cindy in Sioux City, Iowa, I hope you enjoyed watching me make prescription high index lenses with anti-glare coating for your Rayban 2132F New Wayfarer, color 764 red in the 55 eye size. And everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.